Hey Rocco! Alright, I'm so excited because we get to do a math lesson virtually. So that means you don't end up missing out on your math instruction just because we're not in the same room. In order for this to work, it is really important that you're watching the videos and that you also have that PDF that I emailed you. So if you have a printer at home, just go ahead and make sure you've got that printed and you can write on it just like we would in class. If you don't, you need to pull up that PDF either on a separate device, so you'll have the video on one screen, the device on another, or the PDF on the another, or split your screen in half and do the video on one half, the PDF on the other half. If you don't have it printed, just write down your answers as you go along on a piece of paper, line paper, scrap paper, blank paper. That part doesn't matter as much. But make sure you're writing down the answers. That is going to be really important. Also make sure you're showing your work because I know that you don't like to. I know that. But you still have to, especially with this unit. It's really important to write down every single step as you go along. So right now, you're actually going to start with the opening exercise. That part I wouldn't have done with you anyway. You're just going to do it on your own. If you need help, let me know. And I will gladly answer. I can talk to you on the phone, or we can figure out a way. I can answer emails. If you send me a question via email, whatever you need, I'm here to help. Or ask your siblings for help. You've got all sorts of different resources. So ask for help if you need it. But right now, I'm going to show you this. You're going to pause the video, and you're going to do the opening exercise. Alright, so hopefully you've unpaused the video, and it is now time, because you've finished the opening exercise, we can move on to the example. This lesson's a little bit different because we've got an opening exercise on your own, an example, exercises on your own, and then problem set on your own. So it's not very much of me, just this one example. So we'll work through this one problem together. I'll show you how to do it, essentially, and then you'll work on your own for the rest. So let's begin. You should be, I think it's the third page of the PDF at this point. So, your first example. The ages of three sisters are consecutive integers. That's numbers that are in order. So someone's 10, someone's 11, someone's 12. That would be consecutive integers. The ages of three sisters are consecutive integers. The sum of their ages is 45. Calculate their ages. So the first part says use a tape diagram to find their ages. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start out just drawing out tape diagrams. So youngest, middle, oldest. Youngest, middle, oldest. Super easy to write that part down, right? So the youngest, we're going to say we don't know what the youngest is, so I'm just going to call her X. Her age is X. The second sister, that middle sister, is going to be X plus 1, right? Because it's one more. So X and 1. And then our oldest is X plus 1 to match up with the middle sister, but then one more than that as well. So it'll be, the oldest looks kind of like that, right? All of this combined is 45. Okay? That's our tape diagram. That's how we set it up. But now, of course, we have to figure out how to use this. So I'm going to start out saying, okay, I know we have 45, and we have 3. So let's just take out those 3. 45 and 3, you'll be left with just those 3 x's, right? So 45 and 3, that's 42. Once we get rid of those three, so it's kind of like if I'm erasing, I'm saying like that, this would be 42. Does that make sense? So I just am erasing those 3. So once you do that, you're at 42. And then I can split that 42 into 3 groups because there's 3 children or 3 sisters. So 42 divided by 3, which equals 14. Now I can go back and say, okay, the youngest sister looking at that, basically we just figured out that x equals 14. So looking at that, I can say the youngest sister is 14. How old's the middle sister then? Hope you can add 1 super quickly, faster than I can write it. And then the so the middle sister is 15. And then the oldest sister should be 16. Like that. Okay? Let's look at B. B, if the youngest sister is X years old, describe the ages of the other 2 sisters in terms of X, and use that expression to write an equation that can be used to find their ages. So I kind of already have that, right? We have X written into our tape diagram already. So all I have to do is say, okay, the youngest sister is X. Youngest equals X, right? The middle sister then would be X plus what? Just 1, right? Middle sister, X plus 1. And then that oldest sister, I'm sure you already know, would be X plus 2. Right? Okay, so that's not too bad. To find the sum of their ages, I guess I'm supposed to put around some parentheses so that you can find that. To find the sum of their ages, you're going to find you're going to do X, which was our youngest, plus the middle sister, which was X plus 1, plus the oldest, which is X plus 2. Just like that. So our equation then, our last step, finding that equation, I did not leave enough space for this. Our equation, I'm going to take that X plus 1 plus X plus 2. Sorry, I'm going to write that really big so you can actually see it. So our equation is going to be X plus 1. That's the youngest, the middle, and then the oldest. X plus 2. We know all of that equals 45. So that ends up being our actual equation in this situation. All right, so then we move on to C. C says, determine if your answer from part A is a solution to the equation you wrote in part B. So here's this. So it's saying, okay, if we had 14 here, let's take, okay, the youngest was 14, or was X. So let's try work one step at a time. So the youngest was X. We said X is 14, right? The middle would be 14 plus 1, which we know is 15. The oldest would be 14 plus 2, which we know as 16. So I can put in 14 in replacement of X, and I should end up with 45 at the end. Let's try. So we should do 14 plus 1 plus 14 plus 2 equals 45. So then we do PEMDAS, we look at the inside first, right? So 14 plus, this was 15, plus this was 16, equals 45. And then we add that all up, say 14 plus 15 plus 16. Well, that gives us 45. 45. Look at that. It worked. They were equivalent. Surprise, surprise. We have the right answer. So our equation is true. The solution is true. I will write that as well. True. When I write that true, that's saying, yep, yes, it's true that these are equal. That's the part that's true. So at the end of writing the solution and checking to make sure that they're actually equivalent, you usually write true because it is, in fact, a true statement. So all of this here is, in fact, true. Does that make sense? All right. At this point, you're going to move on to the exercise. That should take about 8 minutes for you to do. Once you've done that, move on to the problem set that I've sent you, and that's it. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out, ask the people at your house, email me, see if you really need, set up a time and we can talk over the phone. I'm here to help you. I know I'm here and not in the classroom, but I am here to help you. So please let me know how I can help. Have a great day, Rocco.